It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN 350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN 350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hey Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
The Department of Indian Work partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Now you can call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also schedule a free COVID-19 vaccine at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Appointments are available for residents 16 years of age and older. Vaccines are available to certain residents of Hennepin, Ramsey, Anoka, and Dakota counties. Call the Minnesota American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986 to find out when you can get your free COVID-19 vaccination. Appointments are available April 16th through June 19th. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulio. Rain tapers off, mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 37. Then cloudy skies giving way to sunshine Saturday and a high of 50. Nightingale at 26th and Lindale in Minneapolis is our Eat Local Minnesota Restaurant of the Week with features such as the famous Nightingale Burger and Fries and Ginger Tamari Chicken. View the menu at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. He didn't cut it, dude.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Hey, I am awake. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. As we all know, Native news and events are people news, and people news is Native news and events. You like how I mix it up for you, don't you, Wendy?
You mix it up all the time. You keep me guessing.
I know.
It keeps things exciting. What can I say?
You're lipping along with me, and I'm just trying to throw you off here a little bit. So we discuss national and Twin City Native news and events, and as we all know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. You can call them at 651-304-9986 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Wow, that's exciting. You had some exciting things happen last night, and Ogama and I were...
You guys did a great job. I was watching.
Yeah.
As I was doing my other thing. But yeah, it turned out fantastic. So congratulations, guys, and great job, Ogama. I just want to thank Trish. I got a really fun thing in the mail. She heard that I love Bernie. And I don't know if anybody has seen this. It was online. But when Bernie was caught with his mittens sitting at
the inauguration.
Yeah. So there's a
with
little...
his mask.
She sent me a crocheted Bernie. And he is just so adorable. I love him. He even has a real comb over, like you could lift his hair up and it goes like that, and then you could go. It's actually a comb over. It's the cutest little thing, and
He's
it's
got
all
his mask and his
crocheted.
little mittens.
Yeah, his glasses broke during mailing, but I tried to super glue them, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed they'll stay. But he's just adorable.
He's
sitting,
about 12 inches tall.
yeah, he's really cute. We have him. If you're on Facebook, you could see him. We have him in the camera alongside of Geronimo.
Yeah, it's in the cup. He's sitting in the cup that says "You're on mute," and that's a gift Ogama gave us a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what we're going to do too today, Wendy, a little hangover from that. We're going to play the song at the "On This Land Where We Belong," featuring Winona LaDuke, the Day Singers, Muno Fresh, Pure Fay, Sonia Marino, Jennifer Kurzberg, the Indigo Girls, Bonnie Raitt, Joe Harjo, and many more on that. And I made the video. I made the video cut.
It's awesome. It's beautiful.
I think I saw Ogama in there. I'm not sure, but I was looking for myself the whole time because I've been up in Palisade and with Winona LaDuke's group, and it was a fundraiser. And we want to give a shout out to the Devil Radio and AM 950 for playing that live for the full 2 hours commercial free, which is a big deal because, people need to eat. And so it was very gracious of them to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Really nice.
So we have Ogama with the news, and you hear this sort of news only in a few places, and we're really proud to have her. And it's Native news and Native-centric news. Welcome, Ogama. You look a little tired from all the work you did yesterday.
Hey, Anine, Robert, Wendy. Yeah, I am a little, I'm still in kind of awe, I guess, from yesterday. Yesterday was really exciting. In case you guys didn't know, we did a big event yesterday with Honor the Earth for Mother Earth Day, and this new song Robert's talking about, On This Land Where We Belong, has so many wonderful artists on it, and it was actually covered in Rolling Stone on their website with the launch that happened. It just came out yesterday, so make sure if you want to hear that song, you want to get a copy of that song, you go onto iTunes. 100% of the proceeds from the iTunes sales are going to go to support Honor the Earth when you download that song. So there's my plug for that.
Yeah.
Moving on with the news, Camp McGizzy in northern Minnesota held a direct action at the Swatara pumping station against Enbridge Energy today. The protectors lined up in front of a gate and had chained themselves to, I believe it looked like concrete-filled barrels. They held signs and were strapped in. This is a developing story, so I do not yet know if and how many arrests were made during this incident, but as I know more, I'll try to update you guys with that information on Monday. But thought you should know. Shout out to Camp McGizzy for that. Tomorrow, there's a ton of events for catching up for Earth Day. Earth Day was yesterday, but it should be Earth Day every day. And because Earth Day was on a weekday, a lot of events are happening this weekend. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. is Stop Line 3 times Earth Day for future generations. And this is brought to you by the Sierra Club and other groups in Duluth. So at 1 p.m. tomorrow, they're going to be meeting at Gitche King at Lake Place Park. And they're going to be marching in solidarity and in community celebration around Earth Day to Stop Line 3. It goes from 1 to 3 tomorrow. Again, that's in Duluth. Also tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the Twin Cities at 740 East Lake Street in Minneapolis at 2 p.m. is going to be the Green Jobs for All Earth Day Rally. That event is hosted by Representative Ilhan Omar and MN 350. The event is to call attention to what is happening with the fossil fuel movements like Line 3 in Minnesota, and what our world could be like if we had green jobs for all, asking for more green jobs. So check that out in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis tomorrow. If you are up north, tomorrow at 1 p.m. is the Pine Point Earth Day Parade. That is by Honor the Earth. So they're meeting at the Community Center, what is the old school in Pine Point in northern Minnesota, and will proceed up and down Powwow Highway. Parking is available in the new school lot. Please wear masks and contact 952-688 3805 if you would like to be in the parade. It's actually a parade. Again, that number is 952-688 3805 if you'd like to be in the parade at Pine Point for Earth Day with Honor the Earth. And make sure you arrive at 12 p.m., 1 hour before the parade starts.
I've marched in many.
Sunday is Honor the Earth Day in Bemidji at 300 Bemidji Avenue Northeast, and they are going to be having root beer floats, music, snacks, and indigenous vendors. So that's going to be really cool up in Bemidji. So those are my updates with Stop Line 3 type news. And I want to move on to something really important. So are you there, Robert?
Sure are. We were waiting.
Robert, it looks like
important.
I'm having trouble hearing you. I don't know if my system's frozen. Can you still hear me?
Yep. Yes, we can.
Yeah. So according to the New York Times, 34 states have introduced legislation against protesters who are convicted of crimes. So between the 34 states, there is a total of about 81 anti-protest bills that have been proposed during 2021 legislative sessions alone, which is more than twice the amount of proposals compared to any previous year. One of the first states to introduce a bill like that, proposed legislation, was Republican senators and representatives in Minnesota. Basically, they're saying anybody convicted for protesting would not be eligible for any type of state loan, grant, or assistance, including but not limited to student loans and grant, rent and mortgage assistance, supplemental nutrition assistance, unemployment benefits, and other emergency or other employment assistance, plus Minnesota supplemental aid programs like SNAP, business grants, medical assistance, general assistance, and energy assistance. So votes on this could happen as early as May. If you have not yet done so, please call your representatives and urge them to oppose Senate File 2081 and House File 466. It should not be something that I even have to utter on air to be quote unquote convicted for protesting. This is an amendment right in the United States.
First
And
Amendment.
I don't even see how that could be a possibility,
The First
but this is
Amendment.
where we're at in 2021. So make sure you do your civic duty and give a call to your representatives in Minnesota here.
Well, you also have
Moving on with police standard updates, the Minnesota Board of you there, Robert?
Yeah, we're here. Wendy, there you can run over a protester and not get arrested too. So that's the next thing that can happen.
That's ridiculous. Never heard of such a thing in my life.
Wow. Hey, so
Right. I know.
we thank Pini Gigi Ogama for the news, and Wendy, it's upside down world.
It is the upside down
Thank
world.
goodness we have Bernie here.
Yep, Bernie is here sitting with us. His hands are crossed and his mittens are on.
We got State Representative Mary Kunesh up next. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN 350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN 350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The Department of Indian Work partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Now you can call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also schedule a free COVID-19 vaccine at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Appointments are available for residents 16 years of age and older. Vaccines are available to certain residents of Hennepin, Ramsey, Anoka, and Dakota counties. Call the Minnesota American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986 to find out when you can get your free COVID-19 vaccination. Appointments are available April 16th through June 19th. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Calusa Nation.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanjade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Please call them at 651-304-9986. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you don't need to live in the Twin Cities or Minnesota to call them. They have a lot of good information and can help you.
So you wanted to mention a couple things here before we get State Senator Mary Kunesh on.
Yeah. So one of our sponsors, J. Selby's, which is a plant-based eatery on 169 Victoria Street. It's their anniversary today, 4 years that they've been open.
So you guys in Madison and Chicago, come on down. And,
yeah, I mean, really, they have really good, it's totally 100% plant-based. And today they have their birthday cake, it's called a soy clone. It's a soy clone. It's like a plant-based blizzard. It's really yummy, and I think we're going to go there right afterwards and get them.
And then you say at the end of the commercial, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Hey, so we have State Senator Mary Kunesh on, and we know it's Friday and Fun Day, but we always enjoy her news and what's going on all over Turtle Island. Welcome, State Senator Mary Kunesh.
Mataki everybody. How are you all?
We're good.
We're doing good. We're doing good. Happy Earth Week. Every day is Earth Day for us, but we just want to personally wish you a happy Earth Day.
Hey, and to you as well, and to Mother Earth.
Right on, right on. So, hey, you're busy as always. I know I tried to give you a call today, and you're going meeting after meeting after meeting. What's been going on? I know we were talking a little bit in the news about all these horrendous bills that, we can basically run over protesters now if they're in the highway and in some states. And these atrocious bills are just like those bills that you were dealing with, Wendy, those ag bills. They're the same Republican bills just being sent over to all these other states and seeing what sticks. What's going on in Minnesota?
Wow. I can't say that there's been much really good news to report. And it continues to be a really big struggle at our state legislature, where, again, the only split legislature in the state, where we have our House of Representatives, the majority there are Democrats. We call them DFL here in Minnesota, the Democratic Farmer Labor Union. That's our party. And then in the Senate, where I sit, it is majority Republicans. And then we have a Democrat for a governor. So there's a lot of push me, pull you kind of legislation that goes on. And there's, really and truly atrocious legislation that comes through the Senate that we have to put up a big fight against, knowing that it's going to get passed in the Republican majority, and then we have to rely on the House to fix it all. They won't pass it, so it won't go anywhere. But yet the Republicans continue to present terrible bill after terrible bill. We had yesterday, we heard, we were 6 hours debating the education omnibus bill, and I'm on the education committee, so I was very familiar with those bills. There's basically no increase in the formula, the per pupil increase for students. So there's no help for our students when it comes to the mental health issues, schools getting back on their feet after COVID. The mental health, I think I mentioned that. There's none of that in there, but yet they want to create this huge pot of money for vouchers, which means that that it would siphon public tax dollars out of our public education for private education. So parents could take that voucher and use it anywhere, which, in some instances might sound, well, that's kind of reasonable, but it is. It basically would bring our public education to its knees. And as one of our Democrats pointed out, a private school principal in our Twin Cities makes over $500,000 a year.
Wow.
A public school principal might make $100,000, which is, a lot of money anyway. But that would mean that our public school dollars would now be going towards paying that principal's $500,000 annual salary. And that just does not make sense to us at all. There was another bill, and this is sweeping across the nation, and it's kind of cloaked under the umbrella of keeping girls' sports safe, but it was a bill that would not allow trans girls to play on girls' sports teams. And it's, direct violation of our federal and our state constitution. And so what I did, I took that Title IX amendment that affirms and empowers girls and put it into that bill. And of course, it was rejected, and it was denied that that was their intention. But this sort of thing is sweeping across the nation. Fortunately, the governor in North Dakota vetoed it when it came through his legislature, and for that we are so thankful. So those are the sort of things that are not going so well in Minnesota. We had the
Mary,
verdict come to.
I want to jump in real quick here. That's about the education, because it's big in my heart, and I know it's been a attack on education, well, since the Reagan era. And when you underfund education, it doesn't work. And so we give these vouchers to these private schools. Not only that, what you mentioned, but these private schools can take who they want and don't have to take other students. And
Yeah.
so that's a thing that I wanted to bring up too, and I wanted to jump in on there. Sorry about that, but it's just
Yeah.
it just hits a nerve with me, because if you underfund something, it's going to fail, and that's what the Republicans' game plan's been since the '80s. Sorry about that. I lost my mind for a second, but I wanted to bring that up.
No, that's absolutely true. You're an educator. I am a retired educator after 25 years. So, we are speaking the truth from our life experience. How many years have we been made to do so much more with less and less and less, and yet we're expected to outperform every other state in the nation when we're not. The federal government is just as much to fault as our state government not investing in our education. And yes, it's absolutely true. Public schools can pick and choose who they'd like to be in their schools, and then when they do have students with special needs, and we want to make sure they get all the services they need, they also get to rely on the public school resources at no additional cost. So there's so much work to be done around education.
Yeah, and there's so much work to be done in getting our people out to vote, and really pound the drum in a sense of what the heck is going on, and it affects everyone. And when you hear only one side, and that's why I'm so grateful for having you on and all our other guests, because we're not a corporate radio station here, and neither is Devil Radio in Madison and or Chicago, and we love to hear the truth here, because what you're saying is true, and it's what you're dealing with and what I deal with. Federal government doesn't give us money for special education, takes forever to get, and all these things. And I think as a teacher, and you remember this, Mary, you do not do it for the money. People I know work all day and night, and if they got what they were worth, they'd be like a professional baseball player's salary or something. But yeah,
Probably, I taught at an elementary school. I'm a library media specialist, so I taught all the technology and library and research and that sort of thing. But I was also the testing coordinator. I did the yearbook. I worked with, creating a rain garden. I mean, there was just like nothing that I didn't do. And I didn't get paid any extra for that. Absolutely true. And then in the summers, we would take, classes and professional development to get us, ready. And that came out of our pockets. And so, we just really have to change our attitude around education, around the teaching profession. And of course, for years before I was in the Senate, I was in the House of Representatives also, and worked really, really hard on a full comprehensive package to increase teachers of color and Indigenous here in Minnesota. And it would take a chunk of money and an investment, but we, they nickel and dime it, a little bit here, a little bit there, and they never really pass it with full fidelity. And that's really a painful truth.
Yeah, well, let's jump back into this because I'm fired up. And let's take a quick break. You can stay with us, please, State Senator Mary Kunesh. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back.
Stay with us. Stay with us.
No matter what vehicle you drive, for quality care, head to Rudy Luther Toyota and get service you can trust. My last service at Rudy Luther, I got to experience the incredibly cool Hunter Quick Check Drive Inspection Service. It checked my Sienna's alignment and tire treads as I drove into the service area. Done. I got a thumbs up in the comfort of knowing my vehicle was good to go. Get maintenance you can trust and check out the service specials at RudyLutherToyota.com. For your vehicle service, it's Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
The Department of Indian Work partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Now you can call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also schedule a free COVID-19 vaccine at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Appointments are available for residents 16 years of age and older. Vaccines are available to certain residents of Hennepin, Ramsey, Anoka, and Dakota counties. Call the Minnesota American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986 to find out when you can get your free COVID-19 vaccination. Appointments are available April 16th through June 19th. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
This is Santita Jackson, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I couldn't be more excited about starting our days together, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Central on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota.
In the Army National Guard, soldiers serve part-time and close to home.
My community means everything to me. It helped shape me into who I am today, and is where I choose to raise my own family. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The education benefits I got from serving helped me get my degree and jumpstart my career. The training and leadership skills I've gained from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people, help my neighbors, and look out for my community. I know that when my neighbors need us the most, my fellow soldiers and I will be ready. My family loves it here, And my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time to make life a little easier. Minnehaha Falls Landscaping creates low-maintenance landscapes that save you time and money while protecting the environment. Bee lawns are safe for bees and butterflies. They look good and they simplify your life because you don't have to mow. Go easy on the bees. Go easy on yourself. Catch the buzz. Visit MinnehahaFallsLandscape.com to sign up for a bee lawn today. That's MinnehahaFallsLandscape.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulio. Rain tapers off, mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 37. Then cloudy skies giving way to sunshine Saturday and a high of 50. If estate planning is on your to-do list, or even if it's just time for an update, get started with Schroman Law in St. Paul today. Call 651-571-2515 or visit schromanlaw.com.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are Alusa Nation.
Hey, welcome back. Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
This portion of the show is brought to you by MN 350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice, and the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Yeah, I was like, is it time to howl? But that's the next segment.
That's the next segment.
I wanted to see if Mary Kunesh would, State Senator Mary Kunesh would howl with us for howling for wolves. But
Serious?
that's another segment.
I'm a really
Welcome
good wolf
back.
howler.
Sorry about the interruption, Mary. I just got like really totally fired up here, and and I really appreciate what you brought up. Bring up those two other bills again that you were talking about. The education one just kind of freaked me out there. I had to jump in, but Wendy and I were always kind of talking too. Is that with the split House and Senate, the only one in the United States, it's difficult. It's difficult for Wendy's work with sacred animals and animal support, just to talk to anybody, get anything going. So, welcome back again, State Senator Mary Kunesh.
Thank you. So you wanted me to go back to the education bill? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Then I'll interrupt you again. No, just bring up the two other points after
the
that.
Transgender.
Right.
Sure. So so we debated for 6 hours yesterday in the Minnesota Senate, and we had the Education and Finance Omnibus Bill up. And inserted in that bill was a proposition or a statement that would ban girls, transgender girls, from participating in youth sports. And, it's just so heartbreaking that in this day and age, there are those who would continue within our society to be so divisive, and that prejudice still is so relevant that it spills over and still continues to harm our youth. Not only is this bill in violation of our federal and Minnesota state constitution, but it's a clear violation of Title IX as well. And you'll hear the stories from folks that, poor girls, we've worked so hard in sports to get where we are today. But this is an agenda by Republicans across the nation. And we were able to fight on the floor quite significantly and speak to just how terrible this is. It's just important that transgender girls are girls, transgender boys are boys, and they just want an opportunity to play sports for the same reason that any other kid wants to be part of a team where they feel like they belong, learn that team shit, how to work as a team and build their own health and welfare. And it's just really heartbreaking when this kind of hurtful language comes through our state legislature.
It is, and to people listening that don't know this, when we were being colonized by the invaders, they killed our medicine men and our two spirit people first, because they were the most important to our tribe and
Yeah,
to
they
our
were held
people.
with the highest regard.
Right. And
Yeah.
so when we hear stuff like this, it really upsets us. And also, what year are we on? And I know the state that it passed. Somebody asked one of the Republicans, why is this bill happening? How many lawsuits, or how many are these young people trying out for sports? And they said zero. And it's just like, well, we know why they're doing it, because they're hateful. Whoops, where's my beep button? They're hateful.
It is true. I mean, it's a very small percentage, very, very small percentage. And in Minnesota, for the last 10 years, where this has come to the public eye, there hasn't been a problem in Minnesota. So it's one of those trying to fix a problem that isn't even there. And it's not even that we need to fix a problem. We need to fix people. Yeah.
It's to be, and if they don't keep their base going, which is the religious right and all that, they feel like they're gonna lose. And what we have to do is remind our people here that we outnumber these fools. We just have to get out and vote. And your job as a politician need to let us know what's going on, because most people don't know the struggles that you deal with as a Native woman, and a Native woman as a state senator.
Yep. It is not easy. It's not an easy job to do, but you know what? Somebody's got to do it, right? And, this whole week and my 4 years in the legislature, I really feel it is my duty to educate the other legislators around these issues. Another bill that I brought up that has might have an effect on Native folks was one that I had earlier this week, and now I have to remember it. But I was talking to the community about. I know what it was. There was a fund in our government and the state government that goes specifically to assist housing for Native community members. And it's a low interest loan, and they help you get the loan, and they walk you through the process and all of those sort of things, because we know that one of the way for generational wealth is home owning. You can pass on a house to somebody, or you can sell it and build up on your equity. And they removed it. It was one that was carved out specifically for Native communities. And they kind of popped it into another fund that was going to be spread out between, anybody who wanted to apply for that loan. And so mine was to put it back in there and leave it there. I mean, it was a very small amount, hadn't been increased in years. So it's not like it was draining the funds. And I had to give them a history on how Native Americans got cheated out of so much when they were first shoved onto the reservations, promised all kinds of support, never got that support. And then they said, okay, that's not working, so let's get everybody out of the reservation, relocate them to the cities, promised all kinds of help in the cities, but there was none there. So it's just been a vicious circle. And a lot of the work that I do at the legislature is educating our legislators around these historic issues, the history of what really has happened in America. And that's another big problem that Republicans have as we start to tell the real true history and the struggles of our Native folks and others. They absolutely resist it. They tell us that we're trying to revise history. And if we want to put it in our schools, in the school books, the curriculum, they're feeling that they are getting left out. The history of the Finnish or the Norwegians or the Germans isn't being told. And there's all this talk about Indians and not enough about them. And so it's just really heartbreaking, just really so heartbreaking. Mm-hmm.
It is. It definitely is.
You know,
Go
I,
ahead,
I
Wendy.
think that maybe you mentioned this before, Mary, but about 2 months ago, I volunteered with a group called the Aliveness Project, and I met with my House representative and my senator about 4 HIV bills for people who are living with HIV. And one of the bills that I really couldn't even believe it was to end conversion therapy for gay people. And I was like, conversion therapy? That's even really a thing? Like I was shocked about
Michelle
it.
Bachmann,
I
his
was really
parents.
shocked about it.
Michelle Bachmann's parents ran a conversion therapy group.
Oh my
or
God.
business.
And our majority leader in the Senate, Majority Leader Gazelka, also has sent one of his children through that conversion therapy as well. So
Poor kid. That poor kid's gonna. You know what they say, that those kids who go through that conversion therapy, a very large majority of them end up committing suicide.
Oh,
Yeah.
again, it's so heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heavy sighs. Heavy sighs. You know, just before I joined you here on the radio, I was with a group of teachers of color across Minnesota who we gathered to just talk about what's been going on in Minnesota with the verdict for George Floyd. And of course, then we had the other killing of that young man, Dante Wright. And I mean, he was shot 5 miles from the school that I taught in. The first thing I did was go see if he was one of my students in the past. He wasn't, but he did go to one of the schools here in my community, and I was able to go to a memorial service for him. But to hear the pain, to hear the injustices that these teachers are carrying with them, and then how they advocate for their own students in so many ways. I'm telling you, we need a big shot of electricity to this world, and a change of mind for sure, because there's just too much pain out there, and I don't know that we can fix it all for everyone.
No,
sorry to leave you on that sad note, everybody.
No, it is. But what Robert always says is, inch by inch, it's a cinch, and yard by yard, it's hard. So I think we just have to keep working on little things and keep going and not lose hope. And we always have to celebrate our little victories.
Yeah, and and thank you for your 25 years, Peony Gigi, because I know we're like-minded, and it's about relationships, and I know you're carrying that in your life before that and after that, and as a state senator. So I just want to say thank you for stopping in and reminding us how we have to stay vigilant, because these are sad things, but they're fixable, and we need the truth will set us free. So Peony Gigi, State Senator Mary Kunesh.
Wopalatanka, everybody. Take care.
All right.
Thank you, Mary.
Wow, Mary's great.
Awesome. Really. I mean, she just lets us know what's happening, where it's important, and where laws are going to be changed, or ordinances are going to be changed. It's just great. So thank you.
Hey, up next, we're going to talk a little bit, then we're going to play the video, the world premiere video that Rolling Stone played, and then we played it here on AM 950 and Double Radio. You're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN 350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN 350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
This is Winona LaDuke of Honor the Earth, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm awake.
We are Alusa Nation.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
And this portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. Yeah, we'll have to get Mary on one of these days to howl with us.
I don't think we heard Ogama either.
Howling is pretty fun, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, when we were kids, they went through, there was a thing called Primal Scream. Do you remember that? And it was a therapy where people would get together and scream in their pillows. Because they were
Do they still have that?
I feel like doing that.
Well,
I need that.
Well, it is, but not about your spouse, but
Not
just
about
about world.
Never about
Yeah.
my spouse.
Oh.
Just always about world problems. Never about the spouse.
And let me check. All right, her fingers aren't crossed.
Yeah.
So we did this beautiful thing last night for Honor the Earth, and we're going to play this song here on the last part of our show. And Wendy, for a couple minutes here, why don't you tell us a little bit what you did? Because I know Native Roots Radio is being represented in a couple places yesterday for Earth Day.
Yeah, it was. So for Earth Day, I was really honored to be asked to speak on a panel for compassionate action for animals. And we talked about the environment, how ag and raising animals for food causes problems. We talked about Line 3 and
You
how
talked about
I
it.
talked about Line 3 and how this pipeline is impacting not only our environment, the water, the air, but our wildlife. And a lot of people don't really talk about the wildlife and the impact on the wildlife. So I was really happy to be able to talk to that. And we talked to a bunch of McAllister students. Some students were from the University of Minnesota. And then we had just people online just on there watching. So it was pretty exciting. I was really honored to be asked to do that. And it was really fun.
Well, and you were talking the truth, and it was awesome. And, you know, that's one of the things, too. I talked a little bit about during our 2-hour no commercial free show yesterday on Earth Day, was that one of the things that we kind of forget about, we see the trees being torn down, we see the ground being torn up, but if we want to get deeper into it, you know, we have nests in the trees, we have animals buried, and, you know, plants.
Hibernating in the ground.
Exactly.
We have animals that stay in one place all the time, like they have a very small territory, and when their territory is broken up,
that's the way I'd be
they're
if I was an
stressed out, they can't find food, they're starving. You know, mother animals are leaving their young because they're frightened and they're scared, so they run away. So then the babies die. So it's really, it's not only humans, it's not only the environment and the air, the water that this pipeline is impacting, but, you know, I'm the animal person, and the wildlife to me is really important, and as all of those things are important to me.
Well, when you, not you, but when you and the general people put profit over earth, our relatives and animals and environment, that's what you're going to
Well,
get.
that's exactly
And
what it
so
is.
we need a paradigm shift, kind of what Mary Kunesh, state senator, was talking about.
A shock of electricity
I
to the
like that.
world.
I think that's a new T-shirt we're going to do.
That's what we need.
That's you design that, and we'll get Dio onto that.
Mhm.
Hey, we got like a minute before this song goes up, so I just want to tell you a little bit about it, and also just a quick shout out. You can donate to donorbox.org/line-3 and get and feel good about yourself and donate some money. But also, if you buy this song on iTunes, all the proceeds go to Honor the Earth, and that's awesome.
What's the name of the song?
On This Land, Where We Belong, and it'll be featuring Winona the Duke, the Day Sisters, Muno Fresh, Prue Faye, Sona Marino, Jennifer Kraigsberg, who, was Ulala, the Indigo Girls, Bonnie Raitt, Joy Harjo, she's the 23rd Poet Laureate of the United States, and was Proust by Larry Long. So let's take a look at it, Larry Long. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's play the music here. We only got 5 minutes. Let's go.
Ninga ishechike nebe onje. Ninga ishechike nebe onje.
This is the same water that was here when dinosaurs were here. There is no new water. This is the only water we will ever know. This is the same water that my great ancestors drank from and harvested our wild rice upon.
On this land where we belong, surrounded by the northern lights. On this land where we belong, beneath the starlit night.
On this land where we belong, wild Monoman grows. Our blood runs red through the watershed of the Mama King.
On this land where we belong, rivers, lakes, and streams flow through the heartland of the sacred Mississippi.
This water is sacred. Water is sacred because without water there is no life. You cannot drink oil.
On this land in which we belong, from the Canadian tar sand, 1 million barrels of oil the day to come through these sacred lands. On this land to which we belong, with oil thicker than crude, 4,000 workers coming our way, got them pandemic pipeline blues.
This moment is that moment where we face that oil. This is the moment where we face line 3 and say, no, you will not take our wiring.
On this land in which we belong, with pipelines that corrode, when they break, it'll be too late. It'll kill this river road.
On this land where we belong, don't let that pipeline through. No more drill pads on native land. No more pipeline blues. No more drill pads on public land. No more pipeline blues. No more drill pads on sacred land. No more pipeline blues. No more. Don't let line 3 come through.
You are a story fed by generations. You carry songs of grief, triumph, thankfulness, and joy. Feel their power as they ascend within you. As you walk, run swiftly, even fly into infinite possibility. Let go that which burdens you. Let go any acts of unkindness or brutality. Let go that which has burdened your family, your community, your nation, or disturbed your soul. Let go one breath into another. Pray thankfulness for this earth we are, for this becoming we are, for this sunlight touching skin we are, for the cooling waters we are. Listen now as earth sheds her skin. Listen as the generations move one against the other to make power. We are bringing in a new story. We will be accompanied by ancient and new songs, and will celebrate together.
Nipe, kisake iku, kimi kwachawenemiku, kishawenemiku. Nipe, kisake iku, kimi kwachawenemiku, kishawenemiku.
I would like to end with these thoughts. If you're listening to the show, you've been part of the resistance. Peeny Gigi, you're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
Free Leonard Peltier, stop line 3.
Eric Perkins, the Firm Realty in Edina, would like to take this time to thank our doctors, nurses, and first